So it's day 5 of the car quantum leap. I am having like my coming to Jesus moment. That yesterday after dinner, was it before dinner? Before dinner, I was doing some journaling. I did a focus wheel, which was great, which is like a technique that I picked up from Abraham Hicks, and had dinner, did my EFT tapping class after dinner, just like I had planned. And I've definitely noticed how after that I did like a bit of scrolling, and how social media is like really messing with my mindset right now. So I deleted the apps. I'm usually in the habit of doing that anyway. Like I'll download them to post my work stuff, answer a bunch of comments, comment on some things, and then delete the app again. But I'm like, no, this is like, I can really feel the difference, which is great to notice. So deleted those. And while I was laying in bed, and before I fall asleep, I always do morning gratitude. I was kind of doing like a day review where I view the day and be like, what do I want to do different? What could I have done different? And it came up how, and this is what I do with all my clients, I'm doing it with myself, that you think it's 500 things that are all messed up. And if it's all of those things could get cleaned up, then you could be okay. Because like what feeling are you looking for when you're trying to manifest something? Which is what the focus wheel was great about, helping me trying to be able to like figure out and be able to navigate. But I realized that what I'm looking for is for all my basic needs to be met and covered. And they're not being met right now, because I feel like those need to be met before I can unconditionally love and accept myself. Instead of loving and unconditionally accepting myself, ergo, all my basic needs are met. It was really interesting to have that kind of like aha moment. I'm like, how great is that? It is only one thing. And I love it because it totally takes out all the overwhelm. It literally becomes like one thing. I'm like, I just have to love myself so much. That's it, which is worthiness, right? This morning, I journaled a little bit. I've completely cut out coffee and caffeine very easily. And then I had to ask myself in the morning, I was like, what's the most like loving thing I can do for myself today? Because I have a free block today. My teenager's finally well enough to go to school. I was able to drop both the kids off at school today, and they're like, what's the most loving thing I can do for myself right now? I'm like, I would love to go to the gym. I love going to the gym. I love my gym. I love what I do there. I feel like I get upgraded every time. I make money every time I'm at the gym, every single time. So I booked myself a yoga class. I was an hour and a half early for that. I'm like, I'm gonna go walk on the treadmill. And my new favorite thing to do is watch a video podcast and walk on the treadmill. And it just gets my mental juices flowing so good. And the one that I watched was the Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett and his interview with Tony Robbins. And it was incredibly validating. So validating. The hour and 15 minutes that I was on the treadmill went by in a blink. I had an incredible yin yoga class. It felt so, so good. I could feel the like inflammation, which is like this held on anger and resentment, like leave my body. And when I was in Savasana and at the end of the yoga class, I'm like, thank you for like being here, but like I've heard you have been heard, like you can leave now. And since then I feel this like sinking like this heavy feeling in my body, as I can feel like that anger and frustration and resentment of not having my basic needs met for such a long time, like decades, not being like met. Like since an adult, since I've left home, my basic needs have never been met. And it's funny because since like in my home and family of origin, that like unconditional love wasn't met, but my basic needs are. So how great is it that at 42 years old, I've done 20 years of this and 20 years of this, and now I get to have the rest of my life being able to be all of it, that I unconditionally love and accept myself. All my basic needs are always met in the most easiest and like beautiful of ways that are mutually beneficial for everybody involved. And it just feels so, so supportive. And the question I've been asking myself all day today is like, what's the most loving thing I can do for myself right now? And I forgot to pack my snacks after the gym because I had a doctor's appointment, because I'm cleaning up all this stuff that's been on my to-do list forever so easily. But I forgot to pack my snacks. And then I'm like, okay, well, I was telling the kids, I'm like, oh no, I forgot. But there's sometimes I'm like, I don't want to make the investment into a smoothie at the gym, because I'm like, it's either that or I can like just go to the McDonald's like right there, because that would be like a nice little treat. I'm like, okay, but like, is this loving because I'm trying to cope and is like in survival, or is this loving unconditionally? And guess what? The answer was the smoothie from the gym, which I'm very glad for, which I like knew, but it's like all just reinforcing this like beautiful new pattern, right? And like every decision from there has been based on like what's my, and then so I got the smoothie. I'm on my way to the doctor's appointment. Everything is working out time-wise like impeccably. There's always so much time for everything. I have so much more energy, even though I feel like heavy today, as like I just feel like everything getting flushed, like my anger and resentment getting flushed out, which can cause like some heaviness and like a bit of stagnation, or the release of the stagnation, I guess, right? Then after the doctor's appointment, like, what's the most loving thing I can do right now? It's like pay the water bill. Like, that's so great. I can go to the library. I'll pay like drop off all these overdue books. I can sit and read for like an hour. I can pay the water bill. Done. And then after that, I'm like, what's the most loving thing I can do right now? I was like, you can probably go pee. I'm like, what a great idea. Okay, go pee. What's the most loving thing I can do right now? I was like, you should get those groceries now. Because I have this feeling of like wanting to prepare for like a storm, knowing that like in the States right now, and we're in northern Canada, that there's this potentially horrific ice storm that's about to happen. So there is like this energetic like flurry of preparing for a storm. Our prime minister just made a very like impactful, era-inducing speech at a World Economic Summit yesterday. It's it started with Aquarius season. Like there's definitely this move into change. Like we're gonna start to see the changes now as like everything's been kind of falling apart. How do we want to rebuild? Which is also beautiful timing for myself personally, right? So it's like seeing all that. I'm like, I need to prepare a little bit because I need to prepare for the storm is the feeling. And I can feel myself being like, oh my God, well, shit's gonna hit the fan. Everything's gonna be awful. And I'm like, no, girl, like if everything really amazing happens, like you're also gonna want food in the house to be okay with it. Went in, got groceries, got everything I wanted on sale, and it was fantastic. Like we're well stocked. Like being able to like feed my family, there was like more than enough money to be able to do all of that. And then being able to like, so what's my most loving thing I could do now? My habit is to do this, but like what would I love to do right now? I'm like, I just want to go home and have like a little kind of cat nap. And that's what I did. And there was enough time to do that before I had to go pick up my daughter from school and record this. So it's just like this, everything's starting to feel way better. I've really withdrawn from communicating with all my friends and family, and like, I told them, I'm like, hey, 3 weeks ago, I'm like, I'm writing a book right now. Like, this is going to be my focus. I'm not going to be as available. And now it's like, like zero availability. My availability scale went from like 75% to like a 4. So it's like really, really pulling back, which half of them I think is like really messing with their nervous systems. And the other half is like, I hope you're okay. And I like, good luck. And I'll see you like on the other side. It's fine, but it's like really noticing how much of like my external environment is influencing me to stay in survival and to stay in this old mode because it keeps everybody else more comfortable, versus like my true desire is to be in home ownership, to have these international best-selling books, to be a world-renowned healer, to like lead this life of like love and kindness and service and adventure. And just being able to, I need to be able to reinforce that feeling in a very safe container before I kind of have this outside influence mess with me a little bit more, because I find it harder. It takes more work for me to fight it now than it will like next week. I'll be like, no, this is the new norm, and like this is the new standard for things. So just been really noticing that. And it's that there's always this part of me that has understood and believes and realizes that your environment is a reflection about how you feel about yourself. And now I'm like, since I had that realization last night about like the unconditional love and the basic needs, I'm like, this is like, it's so blatantly obvious, it would be impossible for me to not see it right now, which is beautiful because it's everywhere. I'm like, oh, okay. Here we go. And then from that, I've changed my business model. I've gone from like one-to-one to focusing on the group, building community in kindness, in service, and like being able to see the results already start to happen for that. I've booked more appointments in the last 24 hours than I have in the last 3 weeks. So I'm already starting to see these positive effects from it. And it's one of those things I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I also have so much evidence that it's absolutely going to work out. Is it kind of working out in the timeline or the way that I want it to? No. I also had a dream last night that I was like on a panel doing an interview for something. Could have been a podcast, but it's like, oh, what'd you do with the car? And I'm like, I bought the car. I bought this car because we won the lottery, had the huge windfall. And being able to use this as like a quantum leap accelerator, like as a time machine. That when my friends and my family and my kids and even me, it's like when we need that, well, I don't think I'll use this car again. Because it's like, it's already getting normalized and it's already like, like it was baller 5 days ago, but now it's like the norm and the standard. So it's like less of a big deal now. But it's like being able to have that and being able to provide that of service to like my friends and the people that I would love to be able to support that way too. I think it would just be like really cool. Like what a good idea for like my future self to have that. So again, my plan tonight is we're gonna have like an early dinner. I think I'm gonna read tonight. I have not writing for me this week was really clunky, but it's also like at the hardest point of it as I like go into this too. But my plan tonight is just to do some reading and relaxing as I kind of like flush out this like stuff, these emotions and vibration that's been in my body. Probably have some dandelion tea, just drink that all night. And then we'll take the kids to school. I'm gonna go for coffee and write in the morning is my plan. I have some appointments working at the clinic, doing some Reiki sessions there that have like all filled up. Pick up the kids. We have like a treat planned for dinner, and then we're gonna like watch a movie like we always do. But like I'm more calm now than I have been in weeks, in months. I'm like really when I think of it like in years, because I'm actually like loving myself, truly loving myself despite everything that's happening. And it's funny because when I was at the library, I went to like go pee before. It's like, what's the loving thing? Like go pee. I'm like, I look so much like my mom today. It's unbelievable. But I think it's also really reinforcing this pattern that I am breaking in my family. And Tony Robbins talks about this, that it's like you have to set a new pattern, which like took my knees out that I needed to hear. Which knowing that like I'm doing that already, but just like having that validated that everything that I'm doing hasn't been done before in my family. It's never been done before in the family. I'm like, not by women, and I don't think by men either. A couple of them for sure, not by men. So just like this whole new like dynasty and era that's being created and energetically like needs to be supported. I think that's just really lovely. So my original idea was to film all these, have it work, because I keep having this dream of filming all this stuff, winning the lottery, and then like posting about it. The original idea was to film it on TikTok, but then noticing how I don't want to feed into this machine that's not serving us in a positive way anymore. And I feel like there's this pull, like nobody really wants to be on there anymore. Like they do, but they don't. They're just like, isn't that alternative? And then I'm like, what do I need to put this on? I'm like, oh, I should put it on YouTube. I'm like, or you could put it on your own podcast that you have, that you've been thinking about for like weeks now. What are you going to do with this? Like, how are you serving your people? Like, that makes so much more sense. So when these are posted on the podcast, it'll be a week after everything's completed at least. And there's such good and big changes that are like coming, and I just feel have like so much relaxed like love and trust and faith with like everything really working out. And it's just a really nice place to be, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Gratitude is totally the key to open to receiving, for sure. Until tomorrow.